You go downtown. You're right. You tear up an ankle or something. You go downtown. Okay, we need to get you an MRI. Okay, all right. Somebody will give you a call at some point to schedule the MRI. You get the call in a few days, and we got an opening on August 3rd. And okay, that's 3 weeks away. Well, that's when we have the next opening for an MRI. All right. Where in the VA, you're right. You need an MRI. They're on the computer, on the phone, and sometimes same day you can literally walk down the hallway or limp down the hallway if you tore up your ankle, and you're getting your MRI, and your doctor has the results that afternoon, and then he or she's on the phone with you saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to need to do this, we're going to need to do that." It's that quick, and that's what I really, as Jim talked about, that's what I really like. Now,
So this reminds me of what a lot of people who have visited other countries or who live in other countries, especially a lot of expats, they have experienced in universal with nationalized healthcare in their country, is that they don't even have to use another insurance. The fact that the healthcare is nationalized, that it means that things happen a lot faster. And one of the biggest issues, especially, and you talked about this just a few minutes ago, is that there is the VA, people complain about the VA because it's really being purposefully made less efficient by, some politicians because they want to privatize it. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And so therefore, when it comes to actually getting your services from the VA, it doesn't work out as well because it is not as well funded.
When you talk about hiring freezes, yes, we talked about it on Hardlands Media. Even back when we were on radio, I even remember that. I think it was Daniel who did a story about this. Like, hey, kid, I got a story to tell you here. And, I remember we were on the radio. Simpler days, better days that I do miss. The innocent days, 2017, 2018. Innocent years, my God. But no, it's still the same. And even under Biden, where, the latte drinking liberals were at brunch, there's a hiring freeze. And now under Trump, who's more than happy to bomb Iran, well, along with Israel, but hiring freeze. So, and that means our veterans aren't getting quality care. And that tells me that this administration and even our senators and politicians don't seem to have an incentive or an agenda to rectify that error. Well, why not end these wars? I mean, we're able to fund all this money going to Israel and Ukraine. I'm wondering what we have to do now. I think it's now everyone's social responsibility to rename your neighborhood or state into Israel and Ukraine, and boom, you're going to get that money.
All right, we got you.
And first of all, I noticed that you got the high ground. I got the low ground. I also noticed that you're more sharply dressed than I am. And you know what? For that, I must apologize. It's really hot here in the city. And I can't wear my suit and tie. And you know what? My house has never had AC, and I'm 40 years old. Never known it except when I visit hotel rooms or I'm in an air-conditioned car. So there you go. It's really hot. My tomatoes are growing and blooming. But also, more importantly, I am on one of the Dauntless Views shows, and that is none other than JB. And I have to say, first of all, I've been following your work on social media, and I just want to say, I hope this year has been very successful to you with the aftermath of your surgery, now that you get to have normalcy. And for that, I am so proud that you are able to enjoy and be happy with life. I recently had a clean bill of health on Monday, which was supposed to be my day off. I was at the VA, so, affordable care, I was like, I remember asking when I went to the hospital, like, am I getting charged for this? And you're like, you're from the VA. You're fine, dude. You're fine. Don't worry about it. And it's just like, all right, great. But again, not a lot of Americans have that privilege. And I think it's important that we talk about Medicare for all and healthcare, not only for citizens, but for veterans, and overall what this means for our society and public. So it's your show. You shoot away, and it's a privilege to be here because you are one of the originals. So there you go, as you should. I'm gonna use my ring fingers for that one. There you go. You're one of the originals right there. There you go.
It's kind of poetic that you have, longer hair and I am sitting higher.
Yes.
I'm like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anakin, I have the high ground.
Don't underestimate my power.
Don't try it.
Don't do it, Anakin.
You are my brother, Anakin.
I hate you.
Join the Sith, not join them. No, leave it in darkness.
I can't say I hate you, JB. I'm sorry, man. You're the only one that I know that has a good heart in this business. Be like, I can't believe I said I hate you, JB. No, we're not doing that. No. But anyways, it's your show. It's your show, and the people are here. Let's talk about healthcare, because you know what, our audiences know something about it, and I think it's fair that we actually have this conversation, because now it's this election cycle. What's happening everywhere in this country, we got to talk about it.
Sure. And here's the thing. This is really going to be a conversation because shout out to Roger Meadows for submitting me this story, because it's something I think that a lot of us need to talk about, because everybody's been talking about, at least for the last decade, we've been talking about Medicare for all, Medicare for all, Medicare for all. And I've been hearing from some people go, what about Tricare for all? And I'm like, I don't know what Tricare is. Even though I do have some family members that served in the military, I don't really know. And so here's a video that I would like to share.
Good.
And go over. And then we'll pause at different intervals. If you would like to interject, please feel free. But this actually talks about the difference between VA care and Tricare. And I'm going to be interjecting because I am a Medicare recipient. And so I'll be interjecting that as well. But this is actually a really informative video.
Let's hear it.
So let's get into this. So this is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. It says, which is better, Veterans Administration Healthcare or Tricare? So let's get into this.
Go to the sit rep. You've got all three of us here today, Mike, Paul, and Jim, and answering a question that we got via email. What is Tricare versus VA healthcare? What's the difference? And this is something that I don't know anything about Tricare other than the fact that
there's Tricare,
that it exists, but
heard of it.
I know plenty about VA healthcare, but Tricare, I know nothing about. And the first question I'm going to pose to the both of you: can Tricare and VA be used together?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, Tricare is just another healthcare option that service members get for retiring from active duty or from National Guard and Reserve service. It's just like, or it's similar to if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield or, what have you. So yes, they can be used together. Jim, I mean, I know you do it all the time.
Yeah. You live in a rural place. Sometimes it benefits you to be able to go wherever you need to at your convenience, and not, when the doctor says, well, I can't do it until, if I'm at a VA facility or near a VA facility, I head in there and get my stuff done. If I'm out in town or maybe I'm on leave somewhere or whatever, I may go see my private doctor, but I utilize them both. And again, at my convenience, it's whatever suits me best. They don't fight. They don't argue with each other. I don't hear anything from either side. I just know a bill gets paid and I'm not the person paying it.
That's a pretty important part of it.
I mean, and that's a very important part of it, since, obviously you're a retiree, you've got Tricare for life. But you also have the ability if I could interject here. Point, similar to other forms of health insurance, is, Tricare is not paying for the hearing aids you have, correct? I mean, if you need hearing aids, Tricare is not paying for that. Is that correct?
Correct. Right. Tricare will pay for my hearing test.
Right.
They'll pay for my eye exam, but it's up to me to get those glasses or to get those hearing aids. So that's why I come to the VA, and specifically for those two items, I don't pay anything for.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Well, sure. Yeah, you're talking anywhere between $4,000 and $8,000 nowadays for hearing aids.
Jeez.
And that's just to get them. That doesn't count. Okay, they need to be adjusted. You need batteries. Right. Yeah. And I think the other thing, Tricare is a wonderful service. I mean, a wonderful option for a lot of people, and
especially if you get a family, right?
Right, and it's well deserved. So that's your opportunity to have your family on a healthcare plan that's not costing you or costing you very little, as far as premiums and things along that nature. But yeah, I would strongly encourage any veteran that if you're on Tricare, if you're a retiree from either, as I said, either active duty or the Guard and Reserves, because those folks are eligible for Tricare once they start drawing their military pay at age 60, or if depending on the number of deployments they had, they can have up to 4 years deducted from age 60. Once you're eligible and you're drawing your retirement pay as a Guard or reservist, then you're eligible also for Tricare.
All right. Yeah, because all right. So first of all, this is a very informative video. Now, I understand where majority of my audience and even your audience stand in regards to, the war on terror, the service. And look, I've been asked this question, and I'm going to get this out of the way. Kit, you served in the military. How do you feel about it? Do you have any regrets? Would you ever do it again? I would not be the man I am now or have the education I have if I had not experienced what I witnessed in my 4 years in the military. And I got very lucky in my 4 tours. I mean, not my 2 tours in my 4 years of service. Okay. I would not be who I am. And I don't look, there's a lot of things we wish we could take back. And there are things I do want to take back, but I got to tell you, my time, I seen some of the best people and some of the worst, some of the most outstanding heroics, and also some of the most vile people. All right. You get it all, but you get it in life. That's something you face off all the time. But this hits close home to me because when you look at veterans care here in the United States, I'm going to keep this Chicago mayor anonymous, but they had the audacity, and no, it wasn't Ramsall. As much as I hate that guy, it wasn't him. Some Chicago mayor had the audacity to say there's no such thing as homeless veterans, which is, okay. Yeah, well, wait. Way to be such a wonderful human being. But homelessness amongst the veterans population, PTSD, and yes, self-deletion is a very serious thing. And, this country, richest country in the world, not only does it not take care of its people, but it doesn't take care of its warriors. It doesn't take care of those who have served, who put on the uniform. And these politicians like to play these games with us. So when it comes down to Tricare, yeah, it's available. Yes, when you are in active service, of course. But it's also available once you retire. I believe that veterans, no matter what state they live in, should have access not only to the VA, but also to Tricare. All right. Now, if that's me overextending things, this means no disrespect to any veterans who served 20 years. Hey, you earned it. You did your time. If that's your choice, fine. But I think it should be available to all veterans because of what a lot of what's been happening these past 20 years in these forever wars. Okay. Since 2001, there's been an uptick in mental health amongst veterans. And I don't like that. I think the VA is doing the best they can even though they're getting cut. And it says a lot about how our congressmen and women really feel for the past 20 years. I take mental health very serious. I do. Above all else, I do. And I think it's unfair that not only is it impacting veterans, but it's also impacting civilians and the family members too. And I'm just going to say this, Tricare, Medicare for all. Why not? Let's have it. Other countries figured it out. Billions of dollars is being wasted for big pharma. So how I feel is, yeah, I think Tricare is great. I mean, I wish it was available for not only me, but my other fellow brothers and sisters who are suffering far worse than me. Far worse. I think they deserve it. And yes, I think the VA should be getting more health and services. And I've been lucky with my experience at the VA. I have been. But I know others aren't so lucky. And I know right now there's somebody, a man or a woman, in a lot of great pain. And they're suffering and they're hurting. And I think that this is once again, a sign of just how sociopathic our Democrat and Republican lawmakers truly are. Notice, they're voting for war. They're bailing out the banks. They're bailing out the corporations.
Yep.
They don't care about the warrior. They don't care about the civilian. They don't care about your grandparents, and they don't care about your kids. This is a psychopathic country ruled by psychopathic politicians, or these are that sniveling little weasels who'll be more than happy to sell their own mama down the river, but they won't help you. That's my rant. So there you go. I know you have more questions. Again, it's your show. But had to get that off my chest, and I had to be very careful because the YouTube algorithm and Rhyme likes to play its games.
Of course, yeah, of course. I'm going to continue on to this one because I think I have a synopsis, but I just want to cover just a little bit more.
One other thing here too, because he's talking about Tricare and the difference between Tricare and VA care. I know that when it comes down to dental, I had it at least for my first year when I got out, but according to this, all you have to do is reach out to your local dentist at the VA hospital location. If you don't have one, the VA will refer you to a civilian dentist. So that's what you got to do. Dental care, brush and floss your teeth, my fellow veterans. You would think that they would take care of your chompers, but no, that's called no bueno. No. I mean, I wish, but no.
Yeah. Let's continue on because I have my thoughts too, but I want to get a little bit more into this. We'll let them play a little bit.
Wait. One other thing here too.
A lot of folks then opt into that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes. Also, one other thing here too. In order to get free dental, it must be service connected or based on criteria being a former POW. Now, I'm not a POW, and thankfully, nothing happened to my beautiful chompers. Got my mom's genetics, having those good teeth, maybe my papa's genetics. But yes, sorry, folks. VA, no dental. What do you think I'm going to write to my congressman and woman about?
It'd be cool.
Mm.
If the VA did have dental, and you can get a gold tooth right there.
You know what? Here's the thing. This might look like I'm missing a tooth, but actually I call this my fang. It's like it grew out on the side and it covered it. So it looks like it's missing, but it ain't. It just came out to be a fang. My mom calls it my warlock tooth.
But you would still look really cool with a gold tooth, especially when you slow smile with a gold tooth.
Mm-hmm. Especially for some acting gigs that I'm being part of, but I'll save that for another day. There you go.
Yep. I can't. I that's my dream. I just need Kit to have one gold tooth, just one.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be great. Yep. And then we dress you in a pimp suit.
All right, let's do it.
On here.
Hey,
you can be a white pimp named Flipback.
A pimple named Flipback? No, a pimp named Slickback. Lord, let's do the Pimp's player. I mean, it got season 1, season 2, pure gold. Season 3, I'm not talking about season 4. That doesn't exist. Anyway, back to the video.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue.
For Tricare. So a lot of folks then opt into that. But at the same time, I would strongly encourage you to either utilize the VA or continue to utilize the VA because there are, as Jim talked about, there are so many options that are available through the VA that may not be as readily available through a civilian provider on Tricare or will cost you money using your Tricare benefit.
I think one of the big pieces too is Tricare is an insurance. I mean, that's essentially what it is. The VA is healthcare.
It's a benefit.
Right. It's something I've gotten. I've earned it. And I don't have to worry about, if I utilize Tricare, I'm going to different places for different things. It's not one-stop shopping like I get at the VA. I go to the VA. If I've got to come in and my doctor says, I need to get you an MRI, I'm just moving off into another section of the hospital and getting it done. Whereas if I'm out in town, I see my private doctor, well, let's do some physical therapy first, and then let's do this, and then I'm going to places all around the state sometimes, if not other places, to get this work done. And I'm hoping they're all communicating. And essentially that should be happening. I know with the VA, it's a whole team approach where everybody's talking to everybody. So my doctor is talking to the folks with the MRIs and anything else being done. If I come in for another appointment, they look and say, oh, well, I see you had an MRI last week and X, Y, and Z. This is what we're doing. I like that. That's why I utilize the VA as much as I can, because I feel like they're all about me.
That's a great point. And I will.
So one of the things that I have observed is that it sounds like Tricare is an insurance, whereas the VA is the hospital system.
Yes.
So, like for instance, Medicare is an insurance, just like Tricare is an insurance, but the VA is like, for instance, we have Orlando Health, which is the hospital system that we have. So like let's say hypothetically we had Tricare for All. Well, Tricare for All would still be a single payer healthcare system. What if we had a VA for all? Basically meaning that it's no longer limited to just veterans, it's for everybody.
Here's
a VA for all would essentially just be a nationalized healthcare system.
Now, here's the thing. Each VA hospital is different. Everyone's experience is different. And to be fair here, look, I'm going to speak for myself.
Sure.
My experience has been more or less, if I had to grade it, maybe 98%. All right. I know it's a high approval, but I know that there are horror stories, and I know there are moments again where there are people who are clearly suffering from PTSD and being extremely, extremely difficult because of the trauma that they've seen. All right. I mean, I get it. There's a two-way street. And sometimes there's people at the VA that should not be working at the VA. Okay. I have not had that experience. So I'm going to speak for myself, but not dismissing the horror stories too. There's no such thing as a perfect system. I know that when I suffered from pneumonia and I lost like 60 pounds, I went to UIC. I didn't know I could go to the VA at the time. Thankfully, when I was at Costco, they were able to, my insurance was able to pay off some of the bill. If I went to the VA, I don't think I'd have that problem. But, when I was at the hospital, just a couple of weeks ago, I was not only taken care of, they made sure I had an IV, everything. They were doing my vitals, doing the whole CAT scan. I mean, I was basically getting the whole body takedown. Okay. Now that's going to cost like I'm being generous, maybe $20,000 for an uninsured American. I'm being generous as that number. That's a low number, but it's probably a lot higher. Please expect that. But I was given the whole shebang. Okay. And not to mention, I was being a little piggish. I got lunch and dinner there too, because why not? But, that all of that costs money. I was given good quality care. I had people come in, check up on me, doctors and nurses, check my vitals, check my body and everything. And when I went to the VA for a follow-up checkup, again, perfectly fine. I think the idea of it works good. The question is, JB, the funding and foundation of it and the assurances from our government and state officials, federal and state, for its insurance quality and ensuring that every single American is given the care that they properly deserve as a person, be they fully abled or disabled, old or young. They deserve that quality. And again, the thing that comes up here is financially, if it's going to be properly served, 2, that it's going to be secure, and 3, there's going to be politicians fighting tooth and nail to ensure that their state is going to stand out. And also, more importantly, our country is going to stand out in comparison to other countries as well. But unfortunately, when you look at our healthcare system, you have one of the leading causes of bankruptcy. So while I do like the VA system, at least for how it's treated me, the VA system, I mean, again, services are being cut and it should be getting more services. There should be congressmen and women right now fighting for that. But I don't see them fighting for that. I see them taking APAC money. I see them taking big pharma and healthcare insurance money. I see them doing that, and they're not helping out veterans. They're not. And I speak of this as a veteran. Where is the help? I mean, you're more than happy to send fighter pilots over there to bomb Iran. But what happens when those fighter pilots are done? Because remember, everyone has to come home sooner or later, right? Be it 4 years or 20 years of service. How's that veteran going to be treated? Well, newsflash, the government don't care. And the ancient Romans, why no one was taking up a spear to defend Rome as soon as the barbarians were at the gate. I mean, it comes down to the point of where, I think, was it History of the World Part 2 or something, where they say, you have the scene where the two guys say, hey, do you care if the Roman Empire falls? And like, nah, I don't give a crap if the empire falls. And exactly, you're going to have that same conversation here too. And even in antiquity too, where you had, again, not to upset the historians in the chat, I'm just giving a small Cliff Note version of it. But, there were moments where you had even Roman veterans in their own community saying, like, don't go in to their own family members. Don't go in. This is at the fall of when the Western part of the empire was beginning to fall, because they were like, what's the incentive? Except nothing but forever wars and emperors and politicians that don't care about you. And we are seeing it again, only except this time we have memes. And the meme is that the government doesn't care. They're willing to risk World War III, but they don't care about you. And if they don't care about the veteran, you better believe that they don't care about you, the people.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you very much for that.
And also, you have Jimmy Tessel right here is writing Rambo. Like, that movie, when I watched it again, like the first Rambo movie, I was like, oh, as a kid, you're like, action. But when you see it now as an adult, it's like, oh, Rambo was just walking down the street with his sea bag wanting to go home, and he's harassed by that sheriff. He wasn't doing anything. He was just wanting to go home, coming back from Vietnam. He was trained to be a killer, of course, but he just wanted to come home. He just was minding his own business.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, thank you very much for that as well. Let's continue.
I would harp on that myself. You go downtown, you're right. You tear up an ankle or something, you go downtown. Okay, we need to get you an MRI. Okay. All right. Somebody will give you a call at some point to schedule the MRI. You get the call in a few days, and we got an opening on August 3rd, and okay, that's 3 weeks away. Well, that's when we have the next opening for an MRI. All right. Where in the VA, you're right. You need an MRI. They're on the computer, on the phone, and sometimes same day, you can literally walk down the hallway or limp down the hallway if you tore up your ankle, and you're getting your MRI, and your doctor has the results that afternoon, and then he or she's on the phone with you saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to need to do this, we're going to need to do that." It's that quick, and that's what I really, as Jim talked about, that's what I really like. Now,
So this reminds me of what a lot of people who have visited other countries or who live in other countries, especially a lot of expats, they have experienced in universal with nationalized healthcare in their country, is that they don't even have to use another insurance. The fact that the healthcare is nationalized, that it means that things happen a lot faster. And one of the biggest issues, especially, and you talked about this just a few minutes ago, is that there is the VA, people complain about the VA because it's really being purposefully made less efficient by some politicians because they want to privatize it. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And so therefore, when it comes to actually getting your services from the VA, it doesn't work out as well because it is not as well funded. I actually have a friend and comrade. She actually is a physician with the VA, and the VA has actually been on a hiring freeze for a few years now. And so they still won't hire more people. And in fact, they're actually laying people off, especially with the Trump regime. And with the Biden regime, they had a hiring freeze. And so it just goes to show that even though they do need more personnel at the VA, they're not willing to fulfill that. And they're actually wanting veterans to go outside of the VA, really to use private insurance, to use private companies in order to be able to get more money to the insurance companies, to give more money to private healthcare providers so that they can make more money, because they're the ones who lobby or donate to these politicians so that they can make more money.
Yeah. And it's very tragic. It's very tragic indeed. I know that many of you in the audience might know or had someone who served. I don't know how I would have a conversation with my own father, who was a Marine. All right. He died before I was born. Car accident. Drunk driver hit his car, and that was his end. I wish I would have known him. He served in Vietnam, and he spoke of only two things only once to my mother. All right. He only spoke about it once. He was there when things went down during the Tet Offense. And then when he came home, he burned his uniform. He could not stand what he saw. He saw a lot of his brothers die, and he could not take it. It was pretty rough. So he was in it, and he only spoke about it once. I don't know how he'd feel about me going in. Maybe he'd slap me upside the head. I don't know. I don't know how him and I would be talking, but when you talk about hiring freezes, yes, we talked about it on Hardlands Media. Even back when we were on radio, I even remember that. I think it was Daniel who did a story about this. Like, hey, kid, I got a story to tell you here. And, I remember we were on the radio. Simpler days, better days that I do miss. The innocent days, 2017, 2018. Innocent years, my God. But no, it's still the same. And even under Biden, where, the latte drinking liberals were at brunch. there's a hiring freeze. And now under Trump, who's more than happy to bomb Iran, well, along with Israel, but hiring freeze, hiring freeze, hiring freeze. So, and that means our veterans aren't getting quality care. And that tells me that this administration and even our senators and politicians don't seem to have an incentive or an agenda to rectify that error. Well, why not end these wars? I mean, we're able to fund, all this money going to Israel and Ukraine. I'm wondering what we have to do now. I think it's now everyone's social responsibility to rename your neighborhood or state into Israel and Ukraine, and boom, you're going to get that money. That's it. All right. Now, just to avoid confusion, we'll have Ukraine 1 and Ukraine 2 in different parts. Like, we got a whole bunch of numbers and stuff. It'll be a fun little project that we could do together as one big country. But if the fact that there's no agenda at front and center, not only for American healthcare, but for the fact that there's nothing for even our veterans too. And, I've been told by a couple people, oh, Kit, maybe you should run for office. Well, hey, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I mean, I would love to, but this is Illinois we're talking about. And in Illinois, votes do disappear, and you would need a lot of money. And I do mean a lot of money to deal with the Democrat machine. And running as an independent, yeah, well, I'm better off. The Joker burning his money in The Dark Knight was more efficient than spending it in Cook County. I'm not trying to dismiss anyone. I got nothing but love for the people showing me love here. And believe you me, this community has shown me nothing but love. It is sickening that we have a country where these politicians who have gold-plated healthcare denied us, especially the squad, those 15 congressmen and women, denied us and even refused to fight for forced to vote. I know that you guys talked about forced. Hell, I even remember when RBN way early on in 2021 for March for Medicare for All, you and Rome, JB, you and Rome were on site like, hey, where's everybody else who's been dismissing us? We got a whole crowd here. And I remember that video. It was a great video. It was a great turnout, not only online, but personally too, talking about the need for the March for Medicare for All. And these politicians who ran on it didn't show up. And they wonder why their numbers and our poll numbers are falling, which is why I say to everyone for the Fight the Oligarchy tour, don't get stuck in this. Don't breathe the hopium copium, because if they're not going to show up when we need them, when they have the presidency, what makes you think they're going to show up now? I mean, because what, Trump? Because sooner or later, Trump's going to be bye-bye. He's going to be gone. We just got to live with him for another 4 years. And then if we don't get ourselves nuked, and then we have the whole presidential race all over again. If a Democrat gets in, will that Democrat fight for you? Are you sure about that? How certain are you?
Mm-hmm. Very great points. Very great points. So I'm not going to play the entire video due to the sake of time, but we covered about half of it. But I'm telling you right now, it's important to know the difference between these two. And this also brings me to my final question regarding this. So since we're talking about healthcare for all, which would be more advantageous for Americans? Because would it be Medicare for all, Tricare for all, or VA for all? Like, which would work out best, in your opinion, for all Americans and taking away the means testing?
All right. I don't know what kind of system we would need, because we've been never given that chance to actually be treated with dignity.
True.
All right. Trying to find a middle ground here. I mean, if we were to have a system, because so many people, remember, corporate media has hypnotized a lot of people thinking like what we got works and it's really good. And I've been seeing more and more people wake up to the fact, even those on the right, and I'm more than happy to work with people on the right and the left everywhere, saying like, no, our system sucks. Maybe, I don't know, to ease things up, we have like maybe a Tricare, Medicare for all kind of thing in which people are treated with dignity. There's been a lot of talk about Australia's healthcare system. If we don't want to go for all the way in, then look, Australia still has its private healthcare insurance industry. If people want to drink that Coca-Cola slop and think like that's fine, but at least Australia also does have a public option too. I mean, I'm being generous here because you're dealing with people, especially in the United States, where being treated with dignity is now a foreign concept. actually not worrying about going into debt or being enslaved. All right, being enslaved by debt. And I know I should be careful with that word, but in being enslaved with debt, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, being treated with dignity in this country is a foreign concept. Having somebody say that it's okay, you don't have to worry about going into debt. Saying someone it's okay, don't worry, you're going to walk out of here just fine. It's okay, because when a doctor sees somebody sick, what does the doctor do? What does the nurse do? See somebody sick, you help.
Yeah.
Sick, help. How many people are not with us here today because of easily treatable diseases or ailments? How many people out here right now are not here with us because of something that was understandably out of their control? How many people have lost their homes because of one bad day? That's America. Oh, we have the potential to be so great. But one bad day, you lose it all. And people wonder why people are snapping. People wonder why somebody would self-delete. Now, I get it. Maybe with some terminal cancer. Hey, you know, if somebody chooses to go out their own way, the way they want, fine. But what if that cancer is treatable, but they can't afford it? And there's a chance for them to stay alive. And in another country, they wouldn't be having this conversation. You know, I see that meme with Walter White where, like, you know, in an alternate universe, oh, don't worry. You don't have to worry about being in debt. You got the system to take care of you. Maybe we would not have a Heisenberg. You see, it's easy for these politicians to say, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Say that when you have no bootstraps, Mr. Politician.
Woo, boy. I'm going to have to clip that one.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You know, and I'll be honest with you. You know, a system of dignity. It's like, what's that? That's like asking a millennial about a savings account. Savings account. What the hell is that? You know, it's like save all my money.
A vacation, a 2-week vacation. What's that? A 2-week vacation.
What is this? Vacation? Vacation?
A vacation is when you decide to take a break from work and decide to enjoy time with loved ones. Sometimes you would take a vacation at home, which is called a staycation, or you have a vacation going outside of your set home, or an international vacation where you go to another country and enjoy its culture and music and people. Webster's Dictionary. I hope somebody animates that, but I gotta pay somebody to animate that.
I would love to see somebody do that, especially if they can do like an animation of you saying that. Oh,
are you kidding me? I've done voice acting work. You know, I mean, I'm the only one here to say that they had their head crushed by Angron, the Primarch of the World Eaters.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into voice acting too myself.
It's fun. It's fun. There's a project where I'm a main character. It hasn't been finished yet, but it's going to be coming out soon. So there you go.
Can't wait.
I can't wait for these. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So there you go.
Yeah. So, Kit, you could please let everybody know where they can find you and what you got coming up next.
All right. Well, fantastic. First of all, Hard Lens Media. You know, I thought I had a day off over the weekend, but we are live every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Central on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Kick. So we are live on those 4 platforms. You can support us via Patreon. We also are on X. X. We're also on Instagram and on Facebook, and we have a Substack as well. In the link to in our videos, you can find a link to our GoFundMe. You could also find our link tree. That way, you can help us out. So, any support or solidarity is greatly appreciated. I know it's asking a lot, especially in this day and age. But anything does help. 9 a.m. Central is when we go live. We also have a TV show on Can TV, trying to get more guests on the show so I could put more stuff on the TV show. So there you go. But also, what we have coming up, we're going to have our morning show, our 2-hour morning show, which is something I always do. And I just want to say we finally crossed the Rubicon after it seems like YouTube was putting the jackboot on my neck. We're at 57,000 subscribers now, which is a miracle upon miracles. And again, also, hey, Patreon. There you go. Loving that indeed. But we're also on Rumble, which I got to say, we did our live stream there, which is now at 115,000 views, which that is like, holy cow. I don't know how that happened. Yes, that was Hey, JB, listen, speaking of dignity, after being slapped around by YouTube and being in YouTube jail for so long, you know, I forgot what it's like to be treated with dignity. You know, I'm a social media felon. I've been canceled so many times. It's like, what? I know. I was surprised that live stream got to 115,000. I don't even know. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't even know now. So there you go. But always happy to be doing all the good work. Thank you for sharing my YouTube channel, and thank you for letting me be on your show. And I hope to collaborate with you in the future. And for everyone else paying attention to this, I know JB's got to do the rest of his show, but JB, when the last time he was on my show, gave me some words of encouragement. And this man here that you guys see is one of the rare ones in this media space. He needs to get more subscribers, and he needs to get more views, because he's one of the positive voices in this independent media sphere. And it means a lot, because I've seen his work and he's been consistent on it. And in it, yes, he's being critical of the system, but he's also telling you that all of you need to get involved too and fight back. Now, I don't stick my neck out for a lot of people, but when I see a good person stepping up and fighting for others, it enrages me that he's not getting thousands or 10,000 views, because there are people who deserve it. And JB, not only were you facing off against, you know, a physical ailment against you, you rose above it live, and we followed your journey. And you know what I have to say to you on this journey? You're not done yet. You're not defeated. So I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad that you're pushing forward. And every day that I see you go live, I know there's a real one. So no matter what happens, JB's one of the dauntless few in my book.
Wow. Gonna make my eyes start leaking here. Thank you so very much.
Don't you cry on me.
I promise I won't. But
All right.
I'll probably do it after the stream, though. But good to see you, kid. It was always an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to have you, man. Thank you so much.
Always. And I'm still here too. And now I'm going to make myself some dinner.
All right. Eat a piece for me, will you?
Sure thing. I'm making some fish and sweet potato, and I'm going to have some vegetables too, a little chopped up vegetables. So there you go. Got to treat myself nice, and then I got to water my tomatoes too. And hopefully, if bacon isn't like $10,000, I'll have some BLTs over the summer.
Nice. All right. Take care. Have a good one.
All right. Much love.
Thank you so very much for watching my channel, and I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Jaybefaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.